Hi, I wanted to make this video about the upcoming module here. It's going to be module number 5, isometric in sections. So we're going to read the module itself, but you got a couple of files here. Number 1, CMU nomenclature. CMU is cement masonry unit. Some people call it cinder block, concrete block, things of that nature. So I'm going to click on that. And this is just some of the typical terms you might see to describe a concrete block. Out here, the smooth surface is called the face. Between those, you get what they call a web or a wall. Okay. Over here, this end shell, it kind of concaves in. And then on the opposite side, these flat surfaces are edges. And notice it has cores. Now, the cores are empty. Okay. So that's just some of the nomenclature. But a couple of files we're going to work with. This typical block basement section and typical CMU and NCS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some type of folder, maybe on my desktop, and I'm going to call it typical CMU block and basement. Okay, so that way what I need to do next is I need to go in here, click on typical CMU. This picture, we're going to recreate this picture. This is going to be sheet 1 of 2. I'm going to right click save images. Now depending upon your browser, you're going to want to save this somehow. Find that folder that I just created on the desktop. Let's see, where's it at? Desktop. Typical CMU block basement. Save that file in there. Same thing with the other file, typical block basement section. So click on that. Again, we're going to recreate this. You're going to have 2 sheets, sheet 2 of 2. Right click, save image as. We're going to call this typical block basement, and we're going to save it in that same folder that I created, which is typical CMU block basement. Okay, so once I got both of those saved in, this other file, NCS. Now this is an AutoCAD file titled NCS, and let me kind of explain why whenever it loads up. So first things first, file, save as, S-A-V-E-A-S, save as. I'm going to save this in that same file, so all 3 of them are going to be in that same file. And this is just for my reference. But I'm going to give it a new file name. I'll call it AMS163, my last name, and typical CMU basement. Typical CMU basement. So I save that. Now, don't worry about update past yet. We're going to go into XREF anyhow. I'm just going to exit out of that. Now, first of all, this layout sheet. First thing we're going to do is this. And I'll show you why it's called NCS anyhow, which is, by the way, a National CAD standard. I'm going to right click on this layout tab where it says move or copy. Click there and go move to end and make sure to check copy. Create copy, move to end. Move to end, both of those. So next, now I got 2 sheets down here in the layout tab. I'm going to rename this one. I'm going to call it typical CMU. This one I'm going to rename, right click rename, and we'll call it typical section. Very good. So you're going to want to fill out the sheet. We'll get back to that here in a minute. Something else too. Notice the original, the 0. This is actually going to be sheet 1. And it will not let you put spacebar, but you can put underscore of 2, right? But look at the second sheet. Watch this. When I exit out of there and I go to the second sheet, it displaced it. What it did was the origin change. I know how to fix it. It's real easy. All you got to do, double click, edit the text. This is going to be sheet 2 of 2. And what that'll do is it fixes it automatically. It reorients the point of origin, okay? Make sure to fill these out. Now, here's the other thing. It's going to be drawn by yours truly, right? Martelli. And let's see. And don't forget, you get points for all this stuff. Project title is going to be typical CMU underscore CMU basement. I don't know. That's fine. Let's see. What else do I need to do? Class AMS163. Okay. Scale. Now this sheet 2 of 2 is going to be half the inch. So 1 divided by 2 inch equals 1 foot dash 0 inch. Okay. Dates. Today's date is 09/27/2020. Very good. Okay, good. Once I got that sheet set up, let me get to the other one. Same thing. I need to edit this. In fact, if I would have made the copy after editing this, it would have been better off because it would have copied all this information. But that's okay. Typical block basement section. Typical underscore CMU basement. I think I called it actually. There we go. Yep. Class AMS 163. 163. Now, don't miss this part. The scale for this first sheet is going to be different. It's going to be 1 whole plus a half inch. So 1 1/2 inch equals 1 foot dash 0 inch. Different scale, okay? 9/27/2020. Okay, good. So now let me get back to the model space. First thing to do is type in xref, but there is actually another way to get to it. Let me go to let me think. Where's X? Insert, reference ribbon, and I can press attach. Look for that file I saved, which was typical CMU block. I can't even spell. Right in here. Let me go inside there. Get inside there. Typical CMU. Now, here's the thing. This drawing is drawn at inch and a half equals a foot. So the reciprocal of inch and a half equals a foot is 2/3, right? 2/3. But if you take 2/3 and multiply, so let me see, 2 divided by 3, 2/3, and multiply by 12, you get an even 8. So for the scale, I'm going to uncheck this and type in 8. Hit OK, pick a point, press top view on a view cube. We're going to recreate this drawing. So first things first, a little something about CMU. And this is going to be a little bit different because we're going to start off with the top view, work to the front view, and then the right side view. So typically you start with the front view. And we're actually going to start out by writing these notes. But before we do, let me go to the Annotate tab and let me explain something. When I go to Dim Style Manager, so I type in DIMSTYLE, Dim Style, and I go to the Dim Style Manager, the dim style that's created is NCS, and that's why I called it this. So you don't need to know much else beyond that. Just that's why it's called NCS. Anyhow, go to text style, and the height of this. Let's see. Let me think. 8. What's 1/8 of 8? 1. So I'm going to change the text height to 1. Set that current, and hit close. Next, I'm going to pick multi-line text, and just like this little note table here, all fillets 5/8, all wall thickness 1 1/8, and all cores equally spaced. I'm going to make a little note, I don't know, somewhere over here. Make sure that your 1 inch text height took precedence, and it did. And let's see, cap lock on, notes. All walls 5/8. Now, notice, let me zoom in. Notice that it wanted to stack my dimension, which is mechanical. But there's a little thunderbolt here. I'm actually going to go diagonal. But actually the best way to do this is go to Stack Properties and change it from fractional horizontal and the style appearance to diagonal. Where's that? Oh, I'm sorry. Is it? Oh, they kind of changed it. Diagonal. Kind of change the way it looks. Okay. And the auto stack thing, you can change it there too. So hit OK and hit OK. It's going to change it to OK. All wall walls 1 1/8. This should have been 1 1/8 the inch. Okay. Notice it did not stack the 1/8 because the whole inch went there. That's okay. I'm going to select it and go to stack, but then select it again. Hit the thunderbolt. Go diagonal. All fillets 5/8. That should have been 5/8. And let me hit the stack diagonal. and then all cores equally spaced. Whoops, cores equally spaced. There we go. Very good. So first things first, I put these little notes in here. Next, something about these concrete blocks. They call them an 8 by 8 by 16. In fact, I think it's on a sheet here somewhere. No, it is not, but 8 by 8 by 16. In other words, it's going to be 8 inch by 8 inch tall by 16 wide. But they're not actually that tall. In fact, what they are is 3/8 the inch thick, less than that, because your grout seams, the grout that binds all these blocks together to assemble a wall, is going to be 3/8 thick. That's how thick mortar should be. So I'm going to start off now. Something else: polar and ortho. Polar and ortho. I'm going to go into ortho mode, which looks like the perpendicular symbol, and I'm going to pick line command somewhere up here. Go to home, and the line I want to draw, maybe choose a different color, like a cement looking color maybe. And then with my line thickness, I want to go 0.6 millimeter. Pick line command, and somewhere up here, pick a line. Now notice one thing. I changed my line weight. First of all, ortho will only let you draw 90 degrees at a time, right? But I chose line weight, but line weight's not showing up. If you customize your status bar, what it is I have line weight checked on, but I have it turned off. It's inactive. I'm going to activate it. Notice my line gets thicker, and type 15 and 5/8, which 15 and 5/8 as a decimal is 15.625. Then I'm going to come down 7 and 5/8, which is 7.625, and then come across 15.625. Now naturally I'm going to connect that together to form a rectangle. Now this is going to be the top view, and just kind of follow along with what happens here. This end shell is derived. It's derived by the radial thickness, or the radial depth of a fillet. Now the fillet, or this round here, otherwise known as the round, is 5/8. So what I'm going to do is this. 5/8 is going to be your fillet thickness. Your walls are 1 1/8. 1 1/8 plus 5/8 makes 1 6/8, which reduces to 1 3/4. Keep that in mind, because I'm going to select this line, right click, copy, pick a point, any point, move in a direction inside, type in 5/8, which 5/8 will work, but I'm also going to type in 1.75. All right? Very good. So, next, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to choose offset 1.125, which is wall thickness. Offset this upper line in and this lower line down. Right? Good. Then I'm going to pick these two lines. Now this is the first time we're really going to use this command, mirror. M-I-R-R-O-R, mirror. Now mirror wants an axis of symmetry. I want to make a horizontal copy. To make a horizontal copy, I got to choose an axis that's vertical. And the other thing mirror does, it's going to make a copy equal but opposite of my axis of symmetry. So I'm going to pick the midpoint here, and then any other line on the vertical axis will mirror the cross. So let me kind of clean this up. I'm going to press trim, right click and space, and just kind of snip things. What I'm going to make it look like is one block with one great big core in the center, okay? So watch, let me kind of snip through, get it all snipped away like this. Now, here's the thing. To avoid computational math, forward and backward on a number line, I'm going to draw another line through, diagonal through each web, kind of like this. Because half of 1 1/8 is going to be, let's see, 9/16. 9/16. So half of a wall is 9/16. We want to avoid I've solved these mathematically, believe it or not, but there's another command we're going to use to solve this. We need equally spaced cores. I need 3 cores, which means I need 2 more walls, 4 walls total, right? So watch this. I'm going to pick line command, L spacebar. I'm going to draw a line from the midpoint of this diagonal to the midpoint of that diagonal. This distance is the total span from one web to another. And there's a very special command, divide, D-I-V-I-D-E. If you go to the modify ribbon I'm sorry, the draw ribbon, you'll see one, and this is on a Windows PC, you'll see one that says divide. It looks like a line segment with the little letter N, okay? Or you can type in DIBIDE. It's going to want you to select the line. Now I need to figure out how many segments do I need. Well, I need 1/3, 2/3, 3/3 whole. So I'm going to type in 3. And if I did this correctly, there should be a point about 1/3 and 2/3 the way across. I should be able to pick select and about the middle, press delete and see 2 nodes. Next, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to pick this and pick that and actually delete them. Leave the diagonal alone. I'm going to press fillet. Now fillet, if you look at the command bar, one of the things you can program right away is radius. On a Mac, you're going to have to type in R spacebar. With a Windows PC, I can press this hyperlink and type in 5/8, 5/8. And what I'm going to do is round this to here. Oh, I'm sorry. Multiple. If you hit multiple, you can do more than one. This to here, this to here, and this to there. Next, watch this. Copy command. If you select the command and you mistakenly pick too much, like maybe I picked too many objects, I don't want to copy this many objects. I only want the web itself. While you're still in select mode, I can actually type in R spacebar for remove and remove objects that I unintentionally selected. That happens with a lot of different modify commands. I don't need the diagonal selected either. Once I got just the web, this left and the right edge of the web copied, I enter the selection with a right click. I press the midpoint, and I'm going to copy that to this node, and to the midpoint here. Now I got some cleaning up to do, and that's okay. I'm going to press trim, right click and space, kind of snip. Let's see, what else do I need to snip? Right in here, snip there. Here's something else trim will do. Erase. R for erase. So I press erase. I'm going to erase my diagonal, erase my nodes, and erase this opposite diagonal. You can also erase this short line and this short line. So get it all cleaned up looking like that. Next, I need to start that front view. So I'm going to pick this bottom edge, right click, copy selection, pick a point, any point, move in a direction straight down. I don't know, I'm looking at my tracking. Right now I'm at 5 and 17, 128. Okay, 5 and 932. Okay, 5 and 31. I don't know, let me just type 6. Then I'm going to pick select that line, copy it down again, 7.625. Then I pick line command, and I'm going to make this into a rectangle. Next, I want to change properties. I'm going to pick a different color, like maybe green. I'm going to look for hidden line type, but they don't have it. They have this HDR. I'm uncertain about that, so I'm going to go other and load and look for hidden, HIDDEN, hidden. Hit OK. Make sure it's selected, and then hit OK again. It didn't change it. Okay, so I changed it there. Now, if it's a hidden line, it's going to be 0.3 millimeter. Next, I pick line command. Now, watch this. I'm going to use polar tracking to predict due south where it would intersect here, and then draw a line there. Same thing on this edge. Predict where it would intersect, kind of like so. Predict. Come here. The faster you move, the better. Watch. Bam. Hits the intersection. Same thing here. Now, notice I only drew the left half. I'm going to select these, press mirror, and mirror it across to the opposite side. Front view's done. Next, pick this. Now, let me go back to what I picked before, this grayish color, and let me go back to 0.6 millimeter. Let me go back to continuous line. I'm going to pick select this edge and copy selection over 6-inch. But then pick that and copy selection 7.625. Pick line command and make that into a rectangle. So, what would you see from the right side view? Well, I would see these edges and this end shell. Behind them would be the cores. The cores would be hidden lines. But you would have a solid line. This vertex right here becomes a solid line, an edge. So all I'm going to do is press offset, program it to 1.125, which I think it already was. Offset the left line toward the right and the right line towards the left. Next, to properly finish the multi-view, next we're going to work on the isometric. So, but I'm going to make a short video for this day. But I'm going to go multi-line text, and watch this. I'm going to pick some random place like right here. Make sure my text height's 1 inch. Maybe choose a different color. You could choose something else like red. And this is going to be my front view. Now with these, notice the diamond is a ruler. You can make that bigger or smaller. I'm actually going to highlight it, boldface, and underline that, because I want to make sure people understand that's the front view. So next, maybe what I'll do, oh, I should have done this too, I'm sorry. Let me go back in there, edit it, justification, top center, TC, and that way I can grip it from here, and then use puller tracking to come down. I don't know, let me move it there and then use puller tracking to come down, I don't know, 2 inches. All right, that'll work. Then I'm going to press copy and copy it to and fro, kind of here and here. Now let me go ahead and edit that. This is actually going to be the top view. This is actually going to be the right side view. You could just type in side view. Okay, and that's going to get me going. Let me kind of move this maybe. I'm going to actually press F8, which puts me back into neutral, and do like that, okay? But then I'm going to press F8 again to make sure that ortho is turned back on. F8, even on a Mac, will turn that on and off down here, okay? So, very important. Okay. We're going to get these multi-views done. There's more to do. We've got to finish sheet 1 of 2, we've also got to draw this isometric. So, very good. Let me save my work, and we'll get things going with that. We'll make a sequel to this video. Let me save that, replace. Thank you.